Girl. The Colour Out of Space, written by h.p. Lovecraft. West of Arkham the hills rise wild, and there are valleys with deep woods that no axe has ever cut. There are dark narrow glens where the trees slope fantastically, and where thin brooklets trickle without ever having the glint of sunlight. On the gentler slopes there are farms, ancient and rocky, with squat, moss-coated cottages brooding eternally over the old New England secrets in the lee of great ledges. But these are all vacant now, the wide chimneys crumbling with the shingled sides bulging perilously beneath low gambrel roofs.
Why, hello YouTubers, this was the first paragraph of the first chapter of The Colour Out of Space, and you're listening to me, Stephanie Janet Crozier, also known as Micro Nano Girl or Steph1060. This is part 1 of 3. The old folk have gone away, and the foreigners do not like to live there. French Canadians have tried it, Italians have tried it, and the Poles have come and departed. It is not because of anything that can be seen or heard or handled, but because of something that is imagined. The place is not good for imagination, and does not bring restful dreams at night. It must be this which keeps the foreigners away, for old Ammi Pierce has never told them of anything he recalls from strange days. Ammi, whose head has been a little queer for years, is the only one who still remains, or whoever talks of the strange days, and he dares to do this because his house is so near the fields and the travelled roads around Arkham. There was once a road over the hills and through the valleys that ran straight where the blasted heath is now, but people ceased to use it and a new road was laid, curving far towards the south. Traces of the old one can still be found amidst the weeds of a returning wilderness, and some of them will be doubtless linger, even when half the hollows are flooded for the new reservoir. Then the dark woods will be cut down and the blasted heath will slumber far below blue waters, whose surface will mirror the sky and ripple in the sun. And the secrets of the strange days will be one with the deep secrets, one with the hidden lore of old ocean, and all the mysteries of primal earth. When I went into the hills and the valleys to survey for the new reservoir, they told me the place was evil. They told me this in Arkham, because that is a very old town full of witch legends. I thought the evil must be something which grandmas had whispered to children through centuries. The name Blasted Heath seemed to me very odd and critical, and I wondered how it had come into the folklore of a Britain people. Then I saw that dark westward tangle of glens and slopes myself, and ceased to wonder at anything beside its own elder mystery. It was morning when I saw it, but shadows lurked always there. The trees grew too thickly, and their trunks were too big for any healthy New England wood. There was too much silence in the dim alleys between them, and the floor was too soft from the dank moss and mattings of infinite years of decay. In the open spaces, mostly along the line of the old road, there was little hillside farms, sometimes with all the buildings standing, sometimes with only one or two, and sometimes with only a lone chimney or fast-filling cellar. Weeds and briars reigned, and furtive wild things rustled in the undergrowth. Upon everything was a haze of restfulness and oppression, a touch of the unreal and grotesque, as some vital element of perspective were array. I did not wonder that the foreigners would not stay, for this was no region to sleep in. It was too much like a landscape of Salviator Rosa, too much like some forbidden woodcut in a tale of terror. But even all this was not so bad at the blasted heath. I knew it the moment I came upon it at the bottom of a spacious valley, for no other name could fit such a thing, or any other thing fit such a name. It was as if the poet had coined the phrase from having seen this one particular region. It must, I thought, as I viewed it, be the outcome of a fire. But why had nothing new ever grown over those 5 acres of grey desolation that sprawled open to the sky like a great spot eaten by acid in the wind and fields? It lay largely to the north of the ancient road line, but I crossed a little on the other side. I felt an odd reluctance about approaching. I did so at last only because my business took me through and past it. There was no vegetation of any kind on that broad expanse, but only a fine-grained dust or ash which no wind seemed to ever blow about. The trees near it were sickly and stunted, and many dead trunks stood or lay rotting at the rim. As I walked hurriedly by, I saw the tumbled bricks and stones of an old chimney and cellar on my right, and the yawning black maw of an abandoned well whose stagnant vapours played strange tricks on the hues of the sunlight. Even the long, dark woodland climber beyond seemed a welcome in contrast, and I marvelled no more at the frightened whisper of Arkham people. There had been no house or ruin near. Even in the old days the place must have been lonely and remote, and at twilight, dreading to repass the ominous spot, I walked courteously back to the town by the carving road on the south. I vaguely wished some clouds would gather for an odd timidity about the deep, scavy voids above that kept into my soul.